We all find a certain comfort in our daily routines, right? That morning coffee, the commute, the workday, how we unwind at night. But what if those very routines, the ones that feel so completely normal and safe, are actually, well, quietly working against our most vital organ?
Okay, so let's just dive right into it with a really direct question. Is your daily routine secretly harming your heart? It's kind of a startling thought, I know, but it's one we are absolutely going to unpack today. We're going to expose those hidden habits that can cause some serious, silent damage over time.
So first, we'll start by looking at what we're calling a normal day's damage. This is all about the unseen impact of habits that feel totally, completely ordinary.
We tend to operate under this assumption that if something doesn't hurt us right away, it must be harmless. We think we're safe in our daily rhythm. But are we really? We're here to challenge that whole idea and reveal this pattern of what you could call silent sabotage.
So you ready? Let's pull back the curtain and meet the culprits. We're going to walk through 7 specific habits that are acting like silent saboteurs to your heart health.
All right, first up is saboteur number 1, poor sleep. Now, we often think of sleep deprivation as just, feeling tired the next day, but it is so much more than that. It's literally denying your body one of its most critical non-negotiable jobs, repair and recovery. And here's how specific that damage is. When you don't get enough quality sleep, you're disrupting your body's entire natural repair cycle. Your blood pressure is supposed to drop while you sleep, which gives your heart and blood vessels a much-needed break. If that doesn't happen, they stay under this constant, low-level strain that just builds up night after night. Okay, let's move on to our next saboteur, and it might be the very thing you're doing right now, sitting too long. Yeah, we see our desk chairs as these tools for productivity, but when you're in one for hours and hours without a break, it becomes a foe in disguise.
The danger here is pretty simple: stagnation. When you stay seated, critical body functions, especially anything related to your circulation, slow to a crawl. This has a really negative impact on blood flow, and over the long term, it can gradually weaken your entire cardiovascular system. And look, this is not about being lazy, it's about the very real physiological cost of being static.
Saboteur number 3, well, it lurks in our kitchens and our takeout bags, excess salt and processed food. In our rush for convenience, we've often invited some hidden threats right onto our plates. So, here's the thing. This is really a 2-part problem. All that hidden salt in so many prepared foods can raise your blood pressure, putting direct strain on your arteries. At the exact same time, a lot of highly processed ingredients are stripped of the vital, protective nutrients your body desperately needs. That combination creates this constant environment of internal stress for your heart.
And that brings us to a saboteur that isn't about what you eat or do, but what you feel: chronic stress. And I'm not talking about the acute stress of a big deadline. I'm talking about that constant, low-grade hum of anxiety that just never seems to turn off.
Think of it this way. Your body's fight-or-flight response is meant to be a short-term alarm system, right? But when stress is chronic, that alarm never, ever stops ringing. It keeps your body on high alert, which wears down your natural defenses and constantly disrupts your heart's normal, steady rhythm.
So what's next? You might actually be surprised by this one. It's saboteur number 5, irregular meals. It seems so simple, but skipping meals or eating at wildly different times every day can throw your entire system into a state of chaos. Your body absolutely thrives on predictability. And you can see the cost of that inconsistency right here. It just sends mixed signals to your metabolism, and that leads to those unpredictable energy spikes and crashes we all know and hate. This puts a ton of unnecessary strain on your body's internal clock, which in turn stresses your heart. A regular schedule is really a form of kindness to your cardiovascular system. All right, on to saboteur number 6, which we are calling the liquid culprits. This is a trio of common habits that are particularly damaging to your cardiovascular health. We're talking smoking, excess alcohol, and sugary drinks. Each of these has its own distinct damaging effect. Smoking is like a direct assault. It narrows your blood vessels and forces your heart to work harder with every single beat. Drinking too much alcohol can, over time, weaken the heart muscle itself, making it less effective at pumping. And sugary drinks, they are a major contributor to the kind of internal inflammation that creates a really hostile environment for your heart. And that brings us, finally, to the 7th saboteur. This one is different because it's an internal one. It's the habit of ignoring the mild symptoms our bodies send us, just dismissing those little whispers and warnings. The danger here is, well, it's profound.
When we just dismiss that persistent fatigue or some mild discomfort, we are basically normalizing what isn't normal. We're missing our body's request for help. And when we do that, we risk allowing a small, totally manageable issue to grow into a much, much bigger problem.
So, if we're not supposed to ignore these signals, then what are they? This brings us to our next section, listening for the whispers and learning to recognize your body's early warnings.
You know, these aren't always those dramatic Hollywood-style heart attacks. The signs can be so much more subtle. We're talking about unusual fatigue that isn't fixed by a good night's sleep, or maybe mild but recurring discomfort in your chest, getting short of breath from simple activities, or even just that nagging feeling of being off. Think of these as important signals, not just annoyances.
Okay, we've identified the saboteurs and the warning signs. Now for the most important part, fighting back. Let's talk about small habits that create a big defense. Simple, proactive steps you can take for daily protection.
And this doesn't have to be overwhelming. Here's a simple daily reset. Number 1, walk every hour. Just get up and move to break up that sitting time. 2, plan your meals, even loosely, to prioritize real foods. 3, create a simple sleep ritual. Maybe no screens, maybe some light reading, just a signal to your body that it's time to repair. And 4, practice mindful moments. Just step away from your desk and take a few deep breaths. These are small actions, but they have a powerful cumulative effect.
And all of this brings us to the ultimate goal, which is developing a proactive heart. It's all about making that crucial shift from being an unaware victim of your own habits to being an empowered guardian of your own health.
So as we finish up, I'm going to leave you with this question to think about. After seeing these silent saboteurs and the simple ways to fight back, what is one small change you will make today to protect your heart? Because really, the journey to better health doesn't start tomorrow. It starts with that one single choice.